Sometimes we think we have a better plan than the one God has because we don't see him moving in the way we want him to or in the timing we want him to. We see that all throughout the Bible, but in each of these stories that we see recorded through the Old and the New Testament, we see God was working. But Sarah really begins to get frustrated because she doesn't see the fruit of this promise from God. She has no children of her own. And so, as we sometimes do, she says to God, let me help you out. I've got my own plan. In case you haven't thought of this option, maybe I've cooked up something better that will work. Yeah. And as was custom many times in those days, she said, take my servant Hagar and lie with her and have a child, and then we'll have an heir. And I learned a lot more about Hagar in my study for this book as well, because, we think of her as a servant or somebody who was there waiting on Sarah, part of their household, but really she was a slave. She did not have freedom. She's the only woman in this book that we talk about who she was not free to go. And we know that there were times that were very difficult between her and Sarah and Abraham. She does become pregnant, and Sarah, of course, there's enmity between those two. You got to imagine that possibly at times there was jealousy from Sarah to look at Hagar and think, she's now carrying my husband's child, and something I thought was going to be my promise and that I would do. And we are told that Sarah treats Hagar very, very harshly. Hagar runs off. And that's not the only time she'll do that. Long after, many years later, when there are more children in the family, because what happens is we see Sarah, God again visits Abraham and Sarah and sends messengers and says, this is going to come to fruition. It's going to happen. And Sarah laughs because she's an older woman at this point, not by anyone's stretch of childbearing years. And God even calls her out for laughing. And she tries to deny that she did, but like with all of us, God sees everything we do, and we're not hiding anything from him. So Sarah, she sort of laughs in that moment, but at the age of 90 and Abraham around 100, they end up having a child. And, Isaac is sort of that idea of laughter, the name of Isaac, because of what had happened. So this is years after Hagar has born her son, Ishmael. So now we've got Ishmael, we've got Isaac, and we still have a lot of tension between these women in this household. And at one point, Sarah says to Abraham, I want you to send her away. I don't want her here. I don't want confusion over the inheritance of my child and these two boys. And there's something in the scripture that some people interpreted to say that Ishmael was teasing or mocking little Isaac, possibly. So again, Hagar is off into the desert, not a lot of options in her life. And it's there that she is visited by an angel and says, God has seen me. That's the terminology she used for him, the God who sees me. Yeah. And I just think that's so powerful to think that this slave woman who had no defender, who had no property, had no rights of her own, is sent off into the desert with a child. And yet it's there that she has this experience and says, God sees me. I mean, to be seen by the God of the universe when you've probably just been wallpaper in many rooms that people have walked right by you, and you haven't been seen as someone of value. But what does it do for a woman when the God of the universe says, I see you? And he gives her a tough assignment. He says, you got to go back. Yeah. And I can't imagine how much she probably wanted to resist that, but she does go back. And those are the beginnings of so much of what we know throughout the Bible and through the religions of the world because of the story of Sarah and Abraham and Hagar.
Yeah. Okay, first of all, somewhere along the line, Shannon, I wasn't sure if you were still on Sarah and Hagar or you were talking about my own family. Okay, so.
At TBN, our mission is to use every available means to reach as many individuals and families as possible with the life-changing gospel of Jesus Christ.
Thank you for helping make the gospel of grace go around the world.
Without you, we couldn't do it. God bless you.